A man shoved into an oncoming train by a random stranger. A commuter swallowed by an escalator. Ghost trains, the spirit of Winston Churchill, and more. These are scary moments captured on the subway. On New Year's Eve 2024, a 45-year-old man named Joe Linsky had just finished brunch with friends when a stranger walked up behind him at the 18th Street station in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood and just shoved him onto the tracks right in front of an oncoming train. "I just thought I'd been pushed, I'm going to die," Linsky said. "It happened in a flash. The next thing I knew, I was flying through the air and I saw the two lights of the train in my face and I could make out the shape of the conductor. And then I crashed into the tracks and smacked my head open on the ground." He survived the fall, but there was something else to worry about. The electrified third rail inches away. "If you touch it at all, you will die immediately. You cannot move. Don't kick your feet. Don't struggle," Linsky continued. He laid there, screaming for help. About 90 seconds in, a woman heard him and tried to keep him calm. 4 minutes later, he heard sirens. "They dragged me a few feet to the opening between the two subway cars. They told me to raise my hands above my head. 2 firefighters on the platform pulled me onto the platform. I heard my ribs crack. It was unbelievably painful." Linsky spent 7 days in the hospital, 5 of them in the ICU, with a fractured skull, 4 broken ribs, and a ruptured spleen. The man who pushed him, 23-year-old Kamel Hawkins, fled the scene, was caught later that day. When asked what he'd say to Hawkins, Linsky said, "I'm choosing not to focus on the anger or resentment or negativity. I'm focusing on healing, recovering, getting myself back to my life." People get pushed onto subway tracks here in Canada too. In 2022, 39-year-old Shemsa Al-Balushi was shoved right onto the tracks at Bloor and Yonge Station in Toronto. Horrifyingly, a train was approaching. Fortunately, she managed to roll into the space right under the platform to avoid being hit. The attacker was 45-year-old Edith Frayne. She was arrested, but deemed not criminally responsible for her actions due to a mental disorder. The court proceedings weren't made public, so what ultimately happened to her, I don't know. Any claustrophobics watching? Prepare yourselves. Rush hour at a busy metro station, it's already chaotic. But at this subway station in Istanbul, one commuter's evening got a lot worse. As Mehmet Ali Erik walked down an escalator, it suddenly split open beneath him. You just watch as he slips right into the gap. He managed to grab the banister, but the escalator kept moving, leaving him pinned and stuck inside the machinery. He was trapped in there for an entire hour. Other commuters tried to pull him out, but they couldn't. It took firefighters to finally get him free. The Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality claimed a warning sign had been placed near the broken escalator, but as you can see in the footage, crowds of people were using it anyway. This insane CCTV footage comes from October 23rd, 2018 in Rome. Republica metro station was absolutely packed. There was a big soccer match that night and thousands of fans were flooding into the subway to get there. As you can see, the escalator malfunctioned, suddenly shot forward, high speed, hurling everyone straight down. People at the bottom had no time to get out of the way, so this big pileup started. Some fans tried to escape by sliding down the sides, others tried jumping across the adjacent escalator. When it finally stopped, the stairs were crumpled at the bottom with exposed metal plates. Some people were trapped between them. More than 20 people were injured, 7 of them seriously. At least 2 needed surgery for leg injuries. One man partially lost his foot. Pretty horrific. Some reports tried to blame the fans at the time, claiming they'd been jumping and singing on the escalator right before it happened. That was later looked into and determined to be false. It was just an issue with the escalator. Talk about being distracted by your phone. This happened in Madrid in 2019. And Metro Madrid actually released this footage themselves as a warning. Their surveillance video shows a busy platform, people sitting, chatting, waiting for the train. A train pulls in on the opposite side of the tracks, and a woman gets up and starts walking toward it, eyes down, looking at her phone. She takes one step too many off the edge of the platform and drops straight onto the tracks right as a train is pulling into the station. Bystanders immediately jump down onto the tracks to help her. Remarkably, she was fine. Metro Madrid posted the footage to X, writing, "For your safety, look up from your mobile when you're walking through the platform. Not looking up when you're waiting for the subway is a distraction that can be expensive." Again in Rome, this time in 2017 at Termini metro station, a 43-year-old woman named Natalia Garkovic was on the platform. She walked into the train, then changed her mind and began stepping back out as the doors began to close. But the strap of her bag got caught. The train started moving and she went with it. Other passengers on the platform immediately realized what was happening. Some ran to help her and they were frantically trying to signal the driver, but nobody could stop it. She was dragged almost the entire length of the platform before disappearing out of the camera's view. She was found lying inside the tunnel at the far end of the station. She was taken to a Rome hospital in intensive care with some pretty bad injuries, including several broken bones. Passengers on the train had tried pulling the emergency stop lever, but it didn't work. The bag strap also never triggered the automatic door sensors that are designed to prevent the doors from closing on anything. Footage also showed the driver, Gianluca Tonelli, eating a sandwich as the train pulled away. Tonelli was investigated by both Rome prosecutors and the city's transit authority. He told the press that he was, quote, devastated, but he pushed back on taking full blame, saying that he had checked his mirrors twice, that Garkovich had made an unusual movement on the platform, and that the safety system just never alerted him to anything. Transit Workers Union also backed him up. They argued he'd followed protocol. The signal he received indicated that it was clear to go. Empty subway stations are already a little eerie enough on their own, but the security workers monitoring cameras at a station in Batao, China got a lot more than they were expecting. The footage from 2018 shows a completely empty platform late at night. Out of nowhere, a train rolls in. It looks like a normal train, except for the fact that you can see right through it. The ghostly train sits there for a moment and then pulls away. The video was posted to the YouTube channel The Hidden Underbelly, and it went viral in China. People were genuinely at a loss to explain what they were seeing. The description read, "When the station security were watching their surveillance cameras, they noticed this. My source said that in the 12 years he's worked there, he's never seen anything like this before and hopes he never does again." A 23-year-old coach driver named Craig Cooper was visiting London, heading back to his hotel, when he found himself completely alone in the underground around midnight at Queensway Station. At one point, he started to feel something. He told reporters he was very unnerved. He said he stood up from the bench and felt like someone was standing directly behind him. So he pressed his back against the platform wall and just waited for his train. Before any of this happened, he'd actually taken a photo of the platform when he first arrived, just to send to his girlfriend, who'd never been on the London Underground before. It was only after he sent it that he looked at the photo properly and noticed something in the middle of the shot. The figure of this semi-translucent bald man standing there. Craig believes it was the ghost of Winston Churchill. That seems like a leap. It's actually not as random as it sounds. Churchill had actually used a disused subway station nearby as a bunker during the war, and there had reportedly been sightings and hauntings at Queensway going back to the 80s. Since then, I've heard stories that people have seen the ghost of Winston Churchill down there. I know he had a bunker in a subway station nearby, so it could have been him, Cooper said. Now, stealing a car is one thing, but stealing a subway train? In January 2025, a group of masked teenagers broke into a storage yard in Queens, New York, and stole a train. Just before 10:30 on a Saturday night, they got into the conductor's compartment and took out onto the tracks, hitting speeds of around 30 miles per hour. At least part of the ride took them onto active train lines, too. CCTV footage caught at least 6 of them climbing out of the conductor's compartment at one point, then casually just walking through the dark train car. Before all this, they tried to cover the security camera lenses with black marker to hide their faces. That didn't fully work. They were also wearing hoods and masks, so they weren't exactly easy to identify anyway. And then, because apparently that was not bold enough, they filmed the whole thing themselves and posted it to Instagram. Police were still hunting for the suspects days later. They fled the scene on foot, and as of the time of reporting, nobody had been caught. In 2022, surveillance cameras at a subway station in the Bronx caught a deeply disturbing incident. At around 4:40 in the afternoon, a man, later identified as 30-year-old Theodore Ellis, grabbed a 52-year-old woman on the platform and threw her onto the tracks. The victim was taken to the hospital with a broken collarbone, a dislocated shoulder, and a head injury. She was listed in stable condition, though. During the investigation, Ellis told investigators he was the man in the video, saying, "I didn't mean to push her onto the tracks. I was drinking." So yeah, I really cleared things up. This was not an isolated incident either. It was part of this string of people being pushed onto New York City's subway tracks that year, enough that the head of the city's transit agency went on record urging riders to stay away from the edge of the platform. And that has been the video. I will catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.